Welcome to the Future Proof Leader podcast. Thank you for joining us today. I'm Jessica Raypatch, co-founder of Twin Legacy Solutions, a company specializing in AI and leadership solutions that help organizations build client outreach, stronger teams, and future-ready leaders. Today, I'm excited to welcome Andrea Mesis, President of D&A Construction Advisors. She's bringing a powerful perspective as we explore today's topic, the biggest growth challenges and how they overcame them, standing out in your niche, and upcoming trends in 2026. Andrea, we're honored to have you. Thank you so much for being on the podcast. I'd like to kick things off with just opening up the floor to you, who you are, what your business does.
Absolutely. So my name is Andrea Mesis-Bruno. I am the owner of D&A Construction Advisors. I'm essentially a matchmaker for contractors. I help them get access to and validation for access to commercial real estate projects in New York, New Jersey, Florida, and nationally as a whole.
Amazing. Awesome. Okay, well, I'm interested in that specifically. We can talk later about that, but okay. So for diving into the topics today. Okay, so the first question I want to get your perspective on. Every growth journey obviously has challenges. What has been the biggest growth obstacle you faced?
Essentially, I created a business that didn't exist. Now it's a dime a dozen, right? There's the fractional this and strategists, and everybody's using AI for ideas and for pathways to different solutions. But I invented it before COVID, before the lockdown, before everyone ran to social media, before now there's all this automation and AI, and everyone has kind of a strategist at their fingertips. And I was doing it just off the top of my head. I was doing it with the instincts that I have for business intelligence and for the business psychology to help people grow their business. And the biggest obstacle was no one wanted to think out of the box. They were used to always doing everything the way that they had always done it before. And COVID really changed the game on that. So COVID was really the course corrector that allowed companies to start thinking differently, and it forced them to start thinking differently.
I love that. Yeah. So when all that technology started coming on deck, how did you get past that in your business? Did it slow your business down, or did you come up with a new strategy to kind of dodge it all?
I really felt so passionate about the exact mission that I was on, that's bringing executive strategy to commercial construction companies, that I haven't really had to change much. And I think that that's quite remarkable. I think I have seen everybody thinks now that they have a strategist at their fingertips with AI, and you have to know how to use it. And that's where I think I haven't had to change what I'm doing, because you still have to have a mind for it. You have to feed the prompt to know how to get the right output. It's not as simple as just AI will handle it for me. You have to guide it. So my strategies and my consulting services have never really been hindered by it. It's only been enhanced because now I have it as a resource and a tool as well. And I was a very early adopter.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with you. Companies are looking at AI and some are implementing, some are just not there yet. But for those
Mm-hmm.
who are, I like how you said that you need to know how to use it. So in your industry, what do you see at the higher levels, the executives, the CEOs? Are they taking the time to actually learn the AI before implementation? Or are you just seeing people go for it?
I think a lot of people are overspending on getting the people to come in and show them how to use it, when it's really, I mean, if you think of how you've embraced AI, you had to be in it to figure out what you liked and what you didn't like, and you had to scream at it a little bit, like how we scream at Siri and Alexa. You had to know how to get frustrated with it, to know what it was capable of, and know what everybody else was doing. You're just getting M dashes everywhere, and generic bullet points of nonsensical, zero value information, but how to probe it. And you really, I think, have to be in it to know it. I've looked at some people's output and they thought that they had invented the wheel, and they got the most vanilla AI response that everybody gets in everybody's industry. So I think you have to really play around with it before you engage with an expert. I think you have to play around with it so that you know what you don't want your staff playing around with, what kind of intellectual property you don't want your employees putting into the system. And that's really, user error, right? I think we're in the age of user error. We have to know how to not edit your picture to look silly, how to edit your picture to look realistic. But it's with your business, and it's with the marketing material, and with the know-how of knowing how to have the discerning eye.
Okay, great. So your approach is different than what I'm hearing. So you're saying you need to go out and try to figure out what systems may work for you, kind of do a trial and error, play around, test some out, and then maybe bring in, AI strategist and say, this is what I'm thinking for my business. Is this the right way? And this is the system I like the most. It seems the most user friendly. And then go
Yeah,
for
I
it.
think they have to really know what they want. I always tell customers when they say, I want to be bigger, and I'm like, who's the one guy that you want to breathe down his neck? You just want to be a presence that you could finally compete on their level. Who do you want to emulate? And show me that guy. I think a lot of construction company owners, they're great at their trade, right? They're great at millwork or electrical, carpentry, general contracting, but they're not great at communicating to specialists like marketing, advertising, graphic design, what they're looking for. So I always suggest that they tell me who they want to copycat. Like, who's the one guy that you just wish you woke up in his house? You just wish you woke up in his shoes, and you want your company to grow up to be just like them. And then I can really understand and take an audit and an assessment and say, well, what do you like about them? That's easier than getting into a discovery or an onboarding assessment with someone who doesn't know how to articulate what they want to be when they grow up. And they might be a $150 million business that doesn't know where they want to go next year.
Yeah.
So they need to give me some samples, some examples of what they like and what they hate. Some people don't want to be doing TikTok dances for their carpentry company, and some people,
Right. Yeah.
that's all they want to do is something funny that's viral that makes everybody know they exist. It depends on where their ego lies,
Yeah.
and what they think matches the culture of their business.
Oh, absolutely. There's so many out there. So I
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
That a comparative analysis structure. That's great. I think we all have someone we want to aspire to be, company
Yeah.
or person that we kind of emulate that we should
And who
be.
you don't want to aspire to be. I always say, I'm
Or
not a Grant Cardone. I'm not a Tony Robbins. I'm not a Grant Cardone. I'm not a coach. I'm not going to coach you on how to do your job. You're a big boy. You can handle this, but I'm going to help you, and I'm going to be that secret weapon. That's how they should be posing with AI, right? What do I want to look like, and what do I want to look nothing like? And you have to feed both that data in to get really, really good creative results.
yeah, that's a good point. So you talked about how construction companies, they come to you, they want to grow, right? So a lot,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know a business that doesn't want to scale these days, but where do most businesses, in your opinion, hit a wall when they're trying to scale, especially as competition increases? I can imagine
Yeah.
construction specifically must be a highly competitive market.
It's super competitive, and I think it's interesting that people don't know why they're not getting certain work, right? They're not understanding because they're in it, and everybody at their conference room reports to them. So they're only going to tell them that they're smart, and they're going to get everybody that's going to learn how to make their boss happy. I think it's great, a company that comes in from the outside looking in saying, this is your market sentiment. This is, and again, part of my audit process when onboarding and deciding if I want to represent a new firm is, what do people think about you? Because they're not going to tell you what they think about you. They're going to tell me why they don't want to do business with you. And that's such valuable intelligence. Knowing why you're not getting the work is just as important as putting all your money towards ads and marketing and courting clients that you're not their type. They go
Oh, yeah.
going back to that matchmaker theory. You might not be their type, and that might be really valuable information to understand. One, how to change yourself, how to pivot to be their type, right? What kind of makeover do you need in order to attract them? But also, when do you need to just call it a loss and find somebody else that fits you and them better?
Yeah, so it sounds like you're saying you really need to hone in on who is your target market and making sure that's clearly defined. And if you want to get into a
Mhm.
different target market, you have to adjust your business strategy to
Yeah.
account for that. I see that a lot
Everything
too.
There has to be a uniformity, right? So if you go onto their digital footprint, right, which is what I call it, whether it's their LinkedIn, their Instagram, their Facebook, their website, their brochure, the sales letters, their proposal, their RFP, like this is where does that all cohesively match the target you're sending that proposal to? Because it's got to hit on all points. If you have residential construction on spec homes in Boca Raton is your as your proposal or your website, but then you have commercial office buildings on your LinkedIn, and then you have something else in your capability statement, the data centers in your capability statement, you look like you don't have focus and vision and specialty, that you don't have the expertise. You want to be a jack of all trades, master of none. So I like to see people make sure that there's a cohesive message of capability, of experience and competence that makes you the top candidate for the opportunity. And then the price speaks for itself. Then people understand where your bid comes in, because most of the time it tends to be the lowest number. But they will have further conversations with people that they think are more qualified and disqualify those that just don't match.
Yeah, niching down, right? A lot of people are too broad and it's hard. It's also very hard to target, right? I hear that a
Yeah.
lot. Clients come to us like, I don't know how to get this. I can go on LinkedIn, I can go on Facebook. I don't know how to specifically target that niche without wasting my time on the 80% that doesn't fit my profile. So, with that in mind, so what growth tactic did you try that didn't work the way that you expected? And what's one that you really hone into?
I haven't used advertising because I don't really see that working in the business to business construction, commercial construction market, right? I don't think people are going to get anything out of me or my competence or my qualification by me doing a TikTok dance, right? Or confusing things. I like to keep it real. I like to keep it factual about what they need to know about me. I don't tell people Happy Veterans Day. I don't do, the Thanksgiving Day post. I don't think they have real value. And I think a lot of marketing agencies convince people that they have to have that, that content calendar. And I tell them that they're wasting money and they could be using it better by making sure that they're at the right networking event within an industry, or getting earned media coverage for a trade publication that really positions them as a valued subject matter expert on newsworthy content for their target audience.
Right. I know ads definitely don't work for everybody. The TikTok, the Instagram, and such. With that, though, there's a lot of AI lead generation systems that are not the ads that you're seeing on Meta or Instagram
Right.
have you seen people in your industry kind of try that method, the AI lead generation systems?
Oh, 100%, 100%. I think it's really important that when you do that, that you're being mindful when calculating that drip campaign once you bring somebody into your funnel. I am finding myself focusing on text messaging and only when it's real, because I think people are overusing the cadence that they are using any kind of an automation tool, and they're becoming very annoying. I feel like they're a bill collector. I feel like it's
Yeah.
like they're asking me about my auto insurance, right? Like it's like, get
Yeah.
off my phone.
Yeah.
And the mindfulness from when they're sending messages. My phone went off at 3:30 this morning, and I'm like, oh my gosh, my son, 20 years old. I'm like, maybe he got in trouble, and this is his mommy, I'm in trouble phone call. And it
Yeah.
was it was a realtor talking to me about about a listing that they were congratulating themselves on selling a house. And I'm like, do you think about how much you've just proven to me that you are inconsiderate and
Yes.
not thoughtful? Now I
Yeah.
think of you in such a negative light. Yet I might have been looking to buy a house, but you are most certainly the last human being I'm going to contact, because I had to roll over at 3 o'clock in the morning and touch my phone because of your not
Yes.
thinking things through. Like, attention to detail is asinine. They probably saw some like 10 tips to make sure somebody always looks at your message. Send it at
Yeah.
3 a.m.
Absolutely. I know. And it's, yes, I think that goes back to people have these systems and they don't know how to use them. With AI, I would hope people are considering like setting a time frame on your campaign or whatever you're doing. I can't stand that as well. I really can't stand it. In fact, I actually block when that happens. I just block.
I had someone actually tell me that they had this amazing software that I should be pushing to all my clients and recommending to all my clients. He goes, we call them 30 times a day until they answer. And I said, you're doing that on purpose? Like you're doing that, like, yeah, and we use companies overseas that just call them over and over. And if they hang up, we call them right back. And I'm like, but are you trying to hunt them down for like a search warrant? Like, what are you doing? This is not how you prospect people. And it just I sounded so negative, and I'm always down for everybody's, what's your secret sauce, But if that's your secret sauce, I don't know what business that works in, but I'm not signing up. If you're annoying me with your prospecting of me, we're not doing business together. I don't care what
And
your price.
it's not personal. Like lead generation needs to be a little bit more personal. I think
Yeah.
it's too disconnected. How am I going to connect to someone who keeps bugging me, and then they're salesy when you pick up? I can't stand that kind of marketing myself.
Or when they're doing these very, I don't know, master class, skits or scripts that they downloaded for $20, whatever that they, what white paper they found from some guru, on Instagram that says he's making all this money per month. Those people, you could always spot them a mile away, but they're giving people templates. And like the email newsletters was the biggest thing during COVID. They were sending out hundreds of emails, and they were weird subject lines and even weirder rants of nonsense. I didn't even understand it because I always look to see what other people are doing, right? Because they probably paid a lot of money for that script, right? So I'm like, let me check it out. And I'm like, how does that work? Like, who does that work with? Like, it just did to me. I just put them in spam. I just don't know how they think it's a good idea.
Right. Yeah, no, lead generation can go in a million different ways. But what are you seeing with AI as far as like company operations? Do you see people using in your industry? Have they already started? Are they thinking about, or they're very much into using it for workflows or managing emails coming in, virtual assistants, stuff like that? Like,
I would absolutely love to see construction companies using workflows for when a lead comes in, when they go to a trade show, right? When you go to a trade show, you're capturing all this data. How are you engaging with these people that you spoke with on the fly at the show? What are you doing to give them value, to create a conversion that leads to a demo, that leads to follow up after the business card swap, right? These sales guys are out there going to lunch, going to dinner, going to golf outings, spending their company's money to be in a room to get a business card that sits in a stack on the corner of their desk. And then when they're, slow on a day, they might go through it and they're only calling them to get something from them. If there was, hey, it was great to meet you. I'd really love to get on a call with you next week. Here's some information that I think would be valuable. If that was automated, so many more business development people would be successful, but they're not. And the same goes for estimating. They're sending out proposals and estimates, but they're not using a workflow for that automation, for that post proposal follow up. And that's ridiculous. You've already found someone that's interested, that asked for a price from you, and you sent them a price, and you had no automated process in order to follow up on that, to get the information of no is just as valuable as the information of yes. And they don't do it. They're using automation only for strangers. They're not using it for customers, and they would really show themselves as much more of a competent and professional, cohesive organization if they had structure to operations and to any kind of client interaction as well as prospect interaction.
Yes, I'm with you on that page too. I do. That's why I'm asking the question. People come and ask us all these questions all the time. It's fun to get into different industries to see what they could be doing if they're doing it, or if they're at least looking into it. There are so many AI tools for that too, like the automation of the follow through.
And onboarding, welcome letters, thank you for signing this contract.
Yes.
We look forward to doing business with you. Here's the contact information of the 3 people that you're going to interact with once you become our customer. This is our hotline. I mean, I don't want when I sign up for a company to be searching. Once something bothers me when I just signed up, I hit some kind of an issue, right? New customer issues.
Yep.
And then I got to figure out who to talk to. That should have been in an onboarding email, because the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to search in my Outlook for that
Yep.
company. I want instructions on how to deal with that customer, how to interface with them, who's my point of contact. This should
Yeah.
be no-brainer automated information.
Oh, I couldn't, like, just personally in my own life, I've
Yeah,
thought about every, like, as you talked, I'm like, I thought about every project that would have been really, really
yeah,
helpful. We buy
yeah,
properties, and it's like, it's definitely the communication factor is definitely
yeah.
not always there. And it makes you
Because
very,
they're only focused on sales. They're only
right.
focused on automation and lead generation and things for sales. But
Yep.
they're not realizing that they could be using it for so much more
Oh,
that
yeah.
could really free them up to think smarter and to look better and posture themselves with a better reputation from day one. From day one, if you look like you have it together, if I feel onboarded and lost, I'm not gonna continue with that company.
And they probably won't use them again. Um,
Yeah,
if you've already signed something, I'm like, well, next time I'm definitely not going with this company. Well, I think you're
yeah.
spot on, and I love your ideas. You obviously your mindset's where exactly where it needs to be on this. In my opinion. So, where can people find you if they want to get your services? Where can we find you?
Well, luckily, because I embrace AI, you could just Google me and AI will tell you all about me.
Oh, I love it.
But in addition, yeah, ranking in Google and AI is super important, and I definitely worked really hard to make sure that I understood how to dominate within that space. But my website is www.daconstruct.com, and I'm on all the social channels. Andrea Mesis-Bruno, D&A Construction Advisors.
Love it. Well, I'm sure people would be advancing much quicker if they signed on with you. Um, and that's
Hopefully,
something people should be
thankfully.
focused. People need that direction these days. I mean, you need the direction. They're moving too fast for people not to be educated on what they need to do and where they need to go. And if you're not investing in your business in that way, I think it's gonna leave you behind because there's a lot of people that are investing in people such as yourself to help them kind of speed it along, especially if they don't have AI incorporated. They're gonna miss the mark here. I think this is where the world is going. But
Yeah, yeah.
wonderful. I really enjoyed our conversation, Andrea. You are
This was
awesome.
great.
Um,
Thank you.
and to our listeners, thank you so much for spending your time with us on the Future Proof Leader. We appreciate you being a part of the community as always. Until next time, we'll see you and have a wonderful day.
Thank you so much.
Bye, Andrea.